Cowboys Rewind. I'm Britt Johnson. As the Cowboys prepare to take on the New York Giants for Week 5 of the season, we can't help but take a look back almost exactly a year ago. If you are a Cowboys fan and hear the words Week 5 and the Giants, the 2020 season automatically comes to mind, and not in a good way, because that's the day the Cowboys lost star quarterback Dak Prescott after he suffered a compound fracture and dislocation to his right ankle, ending his season.
It's pretty fitting that when you look up the league leaders in terms of teams, points per game, the Dallas Cowboys sit with a magical number 4th right now, and it's because number 4, Dak Prescott, is playing some of his best football at the moment, over 30 points per game for this Cowboys offense. And Dak Prescott, 10 touchdowns. That's the most in his career through the first 4 games of the season. He has been lights out and really managing an offense that just needs him to manage it at the moment, because everything's working for him going into Week 5.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing exactly what you want from your starting quarterback. He's not doing anything over the top. He's not having to force the ball down the field. Game manager, or whatever you want to reference him as, he is being successful in his role as the leader of the Dallas Cowboys on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, this right now, Dak Prescott is playing at an all-time high right now. His command of this offense, he's cool, calm, and collected in the pocket. He's like an extension of the coaching staff right there. Him and Kellen Moore are basically synced as one out there. He's making the best out of all the opportunities, putting this offense in the best position to be productive. Right now, he's QB1 and he's on fire.
And, Barry, I want to just go, extend that right there. A quarterback's job is to put the offense in the best possible play. Mm-hmm. And he's doing that the majority of the time, man. They give him a play. He got the authority to change that play. And when he changes it, 9 times out of 10, it's the better play for the offense.
Dak Prescott, one of 4 quarterbacks with 10 touchdowns and 75% completion through the first 4 games of the year. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson are the only other 3 guys who have ever achieved that. But is there a little revenge on the mind of Dak Prescott going into this ball game this week?
I don't feel like there's revenge. I mean, nobody did anything to him. I do believe that he's seeking closure. Whenever you sustain something that was so traumatic like he had just had, I feel as if he wants to make sure that book is closed. But at the end of the day, his overarching goal for this game is to walk out with a W.
This season, the Cowboys offensive line is working extra hard to protect their quarterback. During Week 4's matchup against the #1 run defense in the league, the Cowboys had 245 on the ground and no sacks allowed.
I said all of that without really mentioning the offensive line. They mauled those guys. I mean, we talk a lot about Tyler Biadasz, and maybe the pass protection's not where you want it to be. It's not as amazing as it could be. They're pretty damn good in the run game. I mean, 2nd straight week, really 3rd straight week, they've just blown the opposition over. And this was the #1 run defense in the league that they just destroyed.
Yeah, Nick, I'll give you a chance to sound off about this running game, particularly because I know going into last week, one of the things, and I can't remember if you said it on the show or if it was just in conversations that we had, but you were like, hey, I'm looking at this opposing defense, and yeah, they're aggressive, and they come at you, and they're fast, which means they're probably a little light, which also means you might be able to push them around. Yeah. And I think that's what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw, and I think we're done saying that Terrence Steele is athletic pass blocker, because he did an outstanding job there. All you have to do is look at the touchdown, or not the touchdown, the 47-yard run by Zeke, or 49-yard. That right there is the best example of a team that's blocking. I wish we could kind of show it and put it up there, but if you get a chance to go and watch that play, everybody is doing their job. Everyone's got their guy. Steele's got his guy 9 yards back. I mean, he's pushing him into the safety position. But, I mean, the tight ends open it up. It is a perfectly executed play, and that's just an example of kind of what they were doing all along. Knowing all of that, 2-point conversion from the 1. I can't even imagine why you wouldn't just say, I'm going to run these big boys with McGovern now playing at some fullback. He's got it figured out there. I love it. That's the one call I'm kind of surprised about.
You know what else Cowboys Nation loves? What the defense is doing by leading the league in some key stats. More when we return.
Cowboys Rewind is brought to you by AT&T. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. This segment is brought to you by Ashley Home Store, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Trayvon Diggs leads the league in interceptions this season, so I think it's time to put some respect on his name. And while we're at it, let's shout out this Cowboys defense as a whole.
The defense in the calling card through the first 3 weeks of the year was always takeaways. So let's talk about them takeaways. Trayvon Diggs with a pair of interceptions, and that man is on another level right now.
You know, we talked about ranking cornerbacks in this league, and, you know, some of us thought that Trayvon Diggs was outside of the top 10, which is cool. But let's break it down. Let's break it down with his draft class. All right.
Sure.
Trayvon Diggs has 8 interceptions. His draft class in total, and this is rounds 1 through 4, has 8 interceptions. So put that in perspective. When you put some respect on his name, and put that in perspective when you talk about T. Diggy.
I like that.
Aiden's dad.
Star of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
2 interceptions yesterday for Trayvon Diggs. The takeaway's now up to 10 on the year. 5 of those belong to Trayvon Diggs from the defensive perspective. And, I mean, flying around the football, I mean, gang tackling, that hasn't been something we've seen in a long time defensively. Sacks. Goodness, 5 yesterday, 3 of which coming from rookies and the other 2 coming from Randy Gregory. I mean, the defense got after it again yesterday, and it was really, really fun to watch.
It's dope. It's dope to see. We talked about how, you know, we were talking about Carolina's defense, the fact that they were dangerous because of you didn't know who was going to make the play.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're really in that same conversation now. It really doesn't matter. We obviously have our guys. Micah Parsons probably had his worst game of the year. I think he went up against some grown men, and he kind of found out that there's some guys that can move him around, which is good. He needs that. He needs that game. But collectively as a unit, we have guys making plays all over the place. Defensive line, have we, aside from the first game, have we had a game? Even the first game, we haven't had Hill back, right? We haven't had,
nope.
No Gallimore, we haven't had a game with our entire defense, but yet it doesn't feel like we're missing anything, and that's a testament to how good this defense is playing. You know,
I think what's exciting, to your point, is I think it was the half sack by 2 draft picks, Chauncey Golston, who's finally getting his first playing time, Osa Digizua, and Parsons is middle blitzing and causing that pocket to break down. You got 3 draft picks doing that.
That's dope.
And in part because guys are missing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, if you're Will McClay, you're sitting back in your VIP box or wherever you are and you're smiling at that. Jerry, too.
Yeah.
And Steven.
Well, and I think that's kind of goes to the excitement. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But it's the youth that's stepping up. Trayvon Diggs is a second-year corner. Those 3 guys on the defensive line and in the front 7 are playing lights out right now. Oh, and by the way, you've got a second-year defensive tackle that's not even available at the moment. That's going to come back and play pretty good snaps for you overall. The youth of this defense is starting to play like you would have expected the veterans to start playing like in past years, and I think that's what's so exciting from what you've had so far.
Midweek, Cowboy Nation was stunned with the news that veteran linebacker Jalen Smith had been released from the team.
It's tough, and I think what bugs me most about it is when people that are on the outside, fans, whatever it may be, they want to say, oh, like, someone deserves this or someone deserves that, everything. They don't realize that this is literally like our livelihoods. We literally could get up and traded the next morning, like the next day. We could be in 50 different freaking states. So people need to realize that. People need to realize that what they're saying is literally just like nonsense. And I think that's a big problem in the world today. And they need to cut that out. Because, I mean, we're literally talking about, like, we don't go talking about someone else's job, so why are they talking about our jobs? It's super frustrating. It's annoying. I think it's classless. I got a lot of strong words for it because I know a lot of guys around the league deal with it. We got families. We might be in one area. You got dudes that have been playing for a team for 8 years. They get traded. They got family. They got kids that have been there for that long. Think about that before you say something like, oh, this guy deserves this or this guy deserves that. We don't go saying, oh, we aren't in your business, like how much you guys are getting paid or what's your boss saying or this and that and about anybody else's jobs. We aren't doing that. This is our livelihood. This is our job. We get traded tomorrow. We get cut tomorrow. So people need to realize what they're saying on social media because I think it's ridiculous.
Leighton, you guys know, as pros, know a lot of that comes with the territory. But as your point is, it doesn't matter still. It is your livelihood, so it cuts deep when things like this happen.
For sure it does. And I mean, you've been playing with a guy for a little while, and even, put yourself in that position too. That's what I'm saying, like, people need to realize when they're saying things like, that's not fun, regardless of who it is or regardless of whether someone has been playing up to their standards or not.
Jalen Smith will be joining the Green Bay Packers. Best of luck to you on your next chapter. So what does this mean to win it in the booth? Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore is at the podium when we return.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley Home Store, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Week 4 was a battle of the booth. The Cowboys won that battle with the ability to make adjustments and adapt.
I think you probably told us after the opener you thought the offense would balance out. Has the pendulum swung to the run game even more than you thought it would?
Similar to the last couple games, I think this game you go into it with a fairly balanced approach, understand if we got to swing one way or the other, we'll swing there. And obviously, based off Carolina, the first few games, we really probably didn't have the greatest pulse on where we wanted to take this game just because of the circumstance of their first 3 games. And so as we went in that game, we certainly found a groove around the football, found some things that we liked, and were able to attack them that way.
Understanding there's an evolution in this offense because the core's been here for a while and you've been here for a while. But are you able to adapt more quickly in games than you were maybe the first few years here when you're in this position, just because of the style and the willingness to kind of adapt versus an imposure, let's run these principles and keep doing it? And it's a bit of a difference there, a growth there.
I would say for myself, obviously year 3, just being able to go through the process of games, I think I feel much more comfortable making those adjustments throughout the game. And I think for us, especially most importantly as a staff, second year as a staff together, all the same group, we're able to communicate so much quicker and see the things that we need to potentially make adjustments to. And so I think we're in a really, really good place. And certainly as a team, we very much embrace it, that there's going to be adjustments. Adjustment football is part of the process. And you're going to have to, we're not going to reinvent things at halftime. We're going to maybe reestablish something that maybe it wasn't a part of the initial game plan. Go, hey, we're going to make this little adjustment here and there. Halftime for what, 12 minutes? I don't even know. 12 minutes. There's not a whole lot of talking that's going to go on there. But I feel like we've continued to embrace it, and I think that's the good thing. Our guys come back. We get feedback throughout the game, coaches and players together, and we're able to make those adjustments whenever we feel necessary.
When we return, we check in with the host of The Star at Night. This week on The Star at Night, the hosts play a game of digging it or denying it, and I think I am digging it on this one. Let's check it out.
Dave, there's a lot of takes going around the internet right now, and I got to get your hot take on a few of these. So we're going to play a game of digging it or denying it. Digging it means you're buying it. Denying it means, yeah, no, I'm out the door on that one,
I wonder why we chose dig as the word.
I don't know. Producer Caden. Okay, up first, let's talk about Trayvon Diggs for a minute, because again, we know he's playing lights out. So are you digging or denying the concept of him being Defensive Player of the Year?
I wish I was on a one-shot right now so I could look the camera dead in the eye and say, Trayvon Diggs, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm going to stop doubting him. I don't know if he's going to get a pick every week, but guess what? He's already got a Pro Bowl caliber resume. 5 picks on the year? You'd be lucky to get 5 or 6 in a season. All he's got to do is play solid the rest of the way, and he will be in that conversation. I am digging it.
I am here for it as well. All right, Dave, it has been 365 days since our leader, number 4, the man, Dak Prescott himself, went down, unfortunately, against the New York Football Giants in the game that we will not be discussing ever again. But is this revenge-style game going to be Dak's best one yet?
I hesitate about revenge. I don't know. It's not the Giants' fault that happened, But it is eerie as hell that he's playing them at AT&T 364 days after the fact, I think he's going to ball out. Yes, I'm digging it. He's on another level. I don't think the Giants are very good, by the way. And yeah, the run game's been dominating for 3 weeks. It's time to open up the pass. I say yes.
Okay, all right. So Micah Parsons, let's stay on the defense here for a minute. We talked about Trayvon. Let's talk about Micah. What about rookie defensive player of the year?
Digging it. All right, who's going to beat him?
All the hardware.
Who's going to beat him? The guy's leading the team in sacks. He plays 2 positions. He plays for America's team. He's going to be on TV every week. He's already becoming a household name if he wasn't when he got drafted. I feel like a homer, but I'm digging it.
All right, so you talked about how Zeke was looking like an older version of himself, and older being like a 2016 version. So will the Cowboys beat the 2014 versions of themselves where they can break a franchise record for most points this season? That record is 467.
Why bother tampering it at this point? Hell yeah. They should have had a 40-burger last week. They had a 40-burger the week before. It's not always going to look that easy. There's some tough teams coming up on the schedule. But yeah, this offense is going to be hard to slow down. I'm digging it. Wing that thing around. Team 40-burger for life.
Let's go. Dave Hellman predicted the Cowboys will be eating good this week. And you
I
know what?
feel uncomfy about how optimistic I
know.
feel right
I am
now.
buying what you're selling. So let's.
I was digging all of those. And you know what else I'm digging? This special moment with Cowboys owner Jerry Jones when we return. Welcome back to Cowboys Rewind. Before we wrap up this show, let's check in with the Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame induction of Jerry Jones.
When I think of the Cotton Bowl, you just saw a picture that goes back those many years. And walking out with me that day was my wife, Jean, who's sitting right down with us. We didn't know that picture had been taken, and we were ahead there in the last few seconds, and they invited the wives and significant others. But with them today is my daughter, Charlotte, and my daughters-in-law, Lori Jones and Karen Jones. Thank you all for being here to support me. Thank you very much. I've always known, because I experienced it, what football can do. Most of it is not smiles. It's a physical game, but it's a hard work game. And if you're looking for 95% enjoyment, you picked the wrong direction to go. It really is about a small percentage at the top where it all becomes worth it. My reason for cherishing this honor today, and I do want to thank the Cotton Bowl and the committee and the staff to be included here. But this game was so special to me in a lot of ways. Obviously, I played the game with my teammates. And those teammates, because we've got to celebrate a happening that really none of us ever thought it could happen to us. We read about it, we dreamed about it, but never thought it could happen to you. We went down to Austin, met the mighty Longhorns. They were #1 in the nation. And we were able to get out of there with a win. And when we flew back to those hills of Arkansas, Texas was #1. We were not the same cats anymore. We looked in that mirror and something had changed. And we were 18, 19, 20 years old. And it did change. And it was manifested that day, January 1st, 1965, when we lined up against those Nebraska Cornhuskers and got out of there with a win and an experience that is changed my life. Yes, this is a meaningful thought and award, and I thank everybody involved with it.
Now, before we head out, it is time for my favorite segment, Caption That. Now, if you want to be featured on Caption That on Cowboys Rewind, make sure you join Dallas Cowboys United on their Facebook, Instagram, all their social media accounts. This week, we have a special one. They said, this picture for Caption That, great photo here. We have the winner for Caption That this week is going to be Ray Rowe, who says, McDonald's is right over there. We can go and be back before they notice we left. Dak will keep them busy, and we can bring him back a Big Mac. I'm sure Dak would love a Big Mac, but I don't think people would notice that you weren't there. So just keep that in mind. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Cowboys Rewind this week. I'm Britt Johnson, and I'll see you guys next time.
Cowboys Rewind was brought to you by AT&T, SWBC Mortgage. Join the more than 120,000 customers that we've helped to find their happier way home. Visit swbcmortgage.com to find a pro today. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.